Okay, team, so we got this mower. It's a John Deere John Deere Easy Track. I don't know if it's got a model on it. I don't see a model, but it's maybe the Easy Track is the model. I don't know. Here you go. It's a Z445, so a John Deere Z445. It's an Exmark. It's a zero-turn, John Deere zero-turn mower, and it's here today for a couple reasons. The main reason why it's here is there is an oil leak. So the customer, who is actually my father-in-law, he parks this in his little shed and noticed that oil was on the ground in the shed. So I did a quick little gander in, and I got to take all these covers off to see where the oil leak is coming from. But there is actually an oil leak because there's grass and stuff under there, and it just soaked with oil. You can feel it. So nothing's gushing out, nothing's rushing out, but something's weeping somewhere. So we got to take a look at that. The other thing is you put this thing on choke, and it takes about 50 cranks before she actually fires. So likely going to have to check out the carburetor, because it's my father-in-law has been using starter fluid to get this sucker going when it's cold, and you want to avoid that because these engines will slowly get dependent on it. So we want to stop that. So we will take a look at the carburetor, clean the whole thing out, see what's going on, and hopefully get that thing started. So I actually cleaned out my garage, much needed, because all the stuff was getting crazy. So I got to do some more cleanup. Special shout out to Mel, raising his finger in the air. But yeah, so we're gonna be working on this. I got to put my real clothes on, so I just got slippers on. Got to get my act together, get some stuff set up, get the roll cart ready, and we're gonna tear this thing apart and see what the hell is leaking on this thing. So stay tuned. Alright, so got my gear on, so we're going to try and work on this zero turn, see what the oil leak is, and see if we can get it started a little, get it to start better. So first I'm going to take all this stuff off, and we'll see where the oil leak is coming from. Got my special guest Ivy girl, so she'll be hanging out. I put the jacket down so she can lay down, and we'll go from there. Huh? What's up, bro? Yeah, I know. All right, come on, you gotta get out of the way. So I'm gonna take, there's these like shrouds. I'm just gonna take this stuff off so I can take all these plastic covers off too. I haven't worked on these before, but also I'm gonna take the wedding ring off. Okay. Ooh, bigger than a ½ inch. I don't know. Probably metric. You know, everybody's going to metric now, so yeah, that's standard. Say what, Milwaukee knows what they're doing with these electric tools, you know, like this electric ratchet, man, I can't live without it anymore. Let's get a parts tray together. But yeah, I mean, I'd say previously, I have an air ratchet, but I didn't really use the air ratchet that much, honestly. I just use hand tools, but it's got this electric ratchet, and I got two of them, you know, because it's just so freaking good. Just like a time saver. And when you're doing this, whether you're doing it for friends, family, or you're making money, either way, you want to move. got the long ones going there. And then what else is happening? So we have to get an extension. And then, okay, so, okay. Let's take this off. Put that there for the right side, this for the left side. And then at least we got access to those. So they're 1/2 inch, so. Real long extension. Man, we had a real rough storm. Should have YouTubed it. I don't know why I didn't. Wasn't thinking. But man, it just flooded us out. Something terrible. Like, talk about destruction. And the power of water is pure amazing. But we had this creek that goes to the property. I don't know if I YouTubed it or not, but they this creek, you know, it's decent creek. It's like a mini river, you know. I mean, you probably wouldn't even call it a creek like a normal creek, but man, that creek turned into a river, which turned into an ocean, and so powerful it moved my 0 turn. I mean, Jesus. Took out the chicken coop, so I got to do a YouTube video on redoing the chicken coop. Just honestly total destruction. So I had to quick make a chicken coop real quick, just to get by. I'd be chilling by the fan. And yes, that's what I was doing this week. Couldn't really make a YouTube video, so I'm trying to get better at making more routine videos. And I'm struggling here. What's going on? You know what? We're gonna do a 13. These 1/2 inches or these 13s? It's a tight half. Let's switch to 13. Let's switch to a 13. One thing I'm really also trying to get better at is organization. You know, I had to you know, stop working for a customer because it was just getting like too demanding, and you know, I had too many family things to attend to, and you know, I just I noticed that this place has turned into a shithole, so I just had to stop, take care of some things. Sometimes I take on too much and then you get bombarded. Alright. So all these shroud bolts are coming off pretty good. I was using a 1/2 inch, but I would recommend a 13. Just because you get it slipping on easier. So let's see. This engine made in the USA and of US and global parts. Okay. So I'm pretty sure this is a Briggs. Pretty sure, and actually, believe it or not, this is the same engine that's in my Gravely. Yeah, we can go look at the Gravely. Oh, I gotta do a YouTube video on the Gravely too, because my wheel's all fucked up from the water. Water moved it and bent it. I mean, literally, it's crazy the destruction of water. Man, I'll tell you what. Deere wasn't messing around with these fasteners. That's nice. Good to see that. Now you can lay out all these bolts, you know, fancy, nice and whatnot, but I don't. I like to exercise my memory. Yeah, see, I grabbed the 1/2 inch on this one. It's definitely 13. Definitely 13. Could I be chilling, supervising, making sure we're doing a good job. Okay, so we got the shroud off. Put that there. And then, so now that that shroud's off, well, you know, let me show you what I'm looking at. So, you see you got oil here, seeping down, oil on the starter. Yeah, so I'm not too sure where it's coming from, but it is coming from somewhere. I see some oil here. So I'm going to start taking a bunch of goodies off here so I can see if I can see where the origin of the oil is coming from. So I'm not too sure. So, but I got oil. You see, like on the PTO, the wiring's all oiled up. I put a piece of cardboard here, but you see it. There's like oil drips here, there, and the cardboard here. So, yeah, she's leaking. I mean, we gotta figure out where the hell it's leaking from. So, hydro gear. You know, this engine's only got 300 some hours on it or something like that. Yeah, 314 hours. So, I don't know. 300 hours on the engine and she's leaking already? I don't like that. I mean, shit. The engine I took off my Gravely had 4,000 hours on it. And it was, actually it wasn't even leaking, it started to burn oil. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Start getting our little 1/4 inch things and get our torque bits. It looks like a T20 to me. Yep, so we got 2 T20s here. And you know what? We're gonna get another parts tray just for all this plastic crap. Alright, so that's loose. I think there's one, yeah, there's one over here. This one's threaded different. This is for a machine, for steel. Okay, so that's loose. Let's loosen these guys. They look like 8mm. Let's leave this out because we're going to need it. Alright, do some organization. Alright, so we're saying it's metric, right? 9? I don't think it's a 9. I think it's, well, I mean, let's try a 10. Is this a 10? It doesn't look like a 10. Ah, it's loose. So, Grab a 9. 9's too small. Alright, so we got metric and standard, is that right? I mean, this don't look good. Let me feel this one. That's too loose. Alright. So it looks like we got a metric mix here. Let's do 3/8. 3/8 is smaller. And then 3/8 is smaller than 10 mil. Yeah, it's a 3/8. Okay. Sheesh. Okay. That's loose. Whatever. What do I got hiding under here? Let's just take this cover off. We went out to this local bar last night, you know, and because of the whole coronavirus ordeal, they're, you know, limiting the capacity of people that are going to places, which is probably the right thing to do if people are really getting sick. But if you're limiting like a bar capacity just 25%, I don't know how these people make money, you know, because I guess I was just always under the impression that, you know, in order for bars and businesses to make money, like, they make money when it's packed. You know, when you're not booming, you're not really making money. So, you know, if that's the case, I don't know how people are, what's this? Oh, I thought this was muddy. But this, no, yeah, it's just dirty. But, I mean, this local bar was doing pretty good. I really don't know if they're holding to the whole 25% thing, but, because they were pretty packed. But man, we were at this bar and a couple dudes walked in, they were whacked. Sat down, fell right asleep. I mean, who gets that banged up, goes to the bar and passes out? I mean, shit. Why even go out? I could barely say anything, you're so whacked out. I don't think I've ever been that bad. But I guess when you're under the influence and you're looking to tear it up, you do whatever you want. Alright, let's see. You know, I only use like 1/4 inch stuff on like lawnmowers. See, like the only time, you know, when I'm turning real wrenches, you know, on like tractors and stuff, I'm never using 1/4 inch, just on the mowers. And this is your oil cooler here, so we're gonna, I mean, it feels dry, it looks good, but we're gonna take that off. We're not gonna disconnect it, but we're just gonna take it off the shroud and just blow it out. You want to make sure that grass and stuff doesn't get stuck in here, because what it is, it's just aluminum fins. It's a heat sink, and if that's you know, if that's clogged up, I mean, the oil's gonna get hot and then you'll start wearing parts and all that stuff. Alright, yeah, let's leave that. Let's just take that. Alright, got that. It's like 5/16. I think it's a 5/16 on here. I think that's what these are. Yeah. And as you know, as I'm making YouTube videos, I like watch a lot of YouTube videos, and you know, some of these YouTube stars, man, they make like fancy intro videos and editing, and I guess they must pay people to do that, because, or I might just not be technically computer savvy to do all that fancy editing, but probably have to reach out to some friends to try and see how to do that. Let's take this fuel pump off. Yeah, so I want to take this whole shroud off just to see if we got oil leaking from the top down. It's a lot of fasteners, but you got to do it to try and find out. So, sorry, but probably the first part of this video will be a little boring because I'm taking all this crap off. But if you guys have an oil leak on your John Deere Z445 or whatever the hell this thing is, with this, I think this is a Briggs engine. Unless this, I mean, I gotta look. I don't know if this is a Cowie or not. Looks like a Briggs to me. Okay, what else we got here? Held up on something. What are we hitting here? Lost the fast round of the motor. Okay, so it looks like we gotta take this shroud off. Got these little access ports here. Deere & Company, assembled in the USA, Moline, Illinois. And yep, the shroud's gonna come off because looks like we gotta take these bolts off as well. That looks like a T25 or a T30. Yeah, that's a T30. So you got a T30 on the top. These were T-hit torques are really strong, man. Like, they don't flex much, and the bits hold up really well too. Maybe I'll do a YouTube video on those. I mean, this one sees a lot of abuse, and you can see the color differentiation, but I mean, I don't see any damage to any of the actual bit itself. Whatever. Alright, this thing should just slide off now. Cool. Alright, so do we see any oil up here? I mean, personally, I don't, but... Okay. So there's even oil up here. How would oil be getting there? This thing's not breathing, right? It's coming from the starter here. Is it? No, that's not that. Where the hell is this oil coming from? Well, we can still, I mean, we can run it just right now as is, and maybe we will until we see some oil come out. Man, I wonder where the hell this oil is coming from now. I mean, we can take the flywheel off, but I don't think there's a need to because I don't see oil seepage down there. And I don't see oil on top of the head. And there's some shit over there. But you know what? Almost looks like on the right side of this. Yeah. No. Should be leaking oil from. Okay. Well, we could take this plastic cover off. And I think we're going to. I think we're going to take this plastic cover off on this side. This is separate, right? Okay. Start taking that off. Oh. Nope. Yeah, it's really wet on this side. Had to find it. Okay, time to get on the ground so we can see what the hell we're trying to take off here. Yeah, see all that oil under there? Where are you coming from? Wrong size socket or something? Oh yeah, look, it's a small guy. I hate this half and half shit. Unclip you from my head for a hot moment. Get you here. a dumb spot for a fastener though. You need like really small hands just to reach this thing. I'm gonna have to get a long 5/16, I think. We gotta get a long 5/16, which I don't keep in my roll cart. Long 5/16. Yeah, you know what? I'll do it with the zipper. Alright. Oh no, man, I don't think I can. Oh. There we go. I'm gonna have to loosen this more up with this guy and then do it by hand. What a pain in the ass. Actually, you know, would be perfect here is probably one of those semi-deeps. I've been thinking about getting a set of the semi-deep sockets, but I just didn't know how much I would really use those things, but here is where it would come in handy. But at some point you gotta ask yourself, like, alright, dude, how many sockets do you really need? You know? I think I get by just fine with, like, what I got. Good. Almost good. This little bugger was holding on that bottom shield. Okay. Now, you see all that debris behind that shield? And there's some oil there. We don't have that here. So, you know, if we're doing some oil investigation here, I'm going to say that we got a lot more oil coming from this side. So now the question is, where is it coming from this side? Because you see that the starter is mighty wet. We have a leak from the hose? It just seems like it's spraying, but I guess we could have a leak from the hose. Well, you could say maybe it's coming from the main bearing seal, but I don't think it'd be pushing up like this. So I doubt the mid mount is leaking. Well, it could be the hose, and you know, there's a lot of pressure inside these lawnmower engines. People don't realize how much pressure is, but they use the pressure to lubricate this thing. So I think what I'm going to do is take my paper towel and wipe off the hose. We're going to go outside and run this thing for a little bit and see if we can find out where the frig the oil's coming from. Alright, so I'm going to wipe this down. I'm going to bring this outside and try to run it and see if I can find where the oil is. So I'm just going to put the YouTube video on hold for now, but you'll see me in, I don't know, a flash. Okay, so I found where the oil leak was coming from. And this one's interesting because, at least it's interesting the fact that I haven't seen it before. Okay, so let's shine the flashlight here, and I'm gonna put you guys all the way up in here. So, you see where the starter is? This is the starter, right next to the. You see where the oil line is? All right, go up. Right where my flashlight is shining. I'm wiggling on that bolt. You see that bolt there? So that bolt was loose. I mean, like finger loose, which was odd. But up here where the subframe of the motor is, it was pissing out oil. I mean, it was pissing out pretty good, like a fine mist. So I said, so what I tried to do first, I was like, well, let me snug up on this thing. And on that bolt there, I'm gonna say I got 2.5 to 3 full turns, which is crazy. I mean, like, it was like super loose. It was very difficult to get that bolt. It's a 13 mil, and I had to use a dog bone. So you got to use your 13 mil dog bone with your wrench to get that. To get anything in there. I mean, you could do, like, I don't know, a 1/16 of a turn with a wrench, but screw that. So yeah, so anyway, what I did is I found it misting out. I fired it up. I probably let it ran. I had a conversation with the wife. I mean, it was probably for like a half hour at least, and sure enough, it didn't leak one bit, so that's cool. So that's nice because the gasket hasn't failed, but it's concerning as to why that bolt was loose. Like I said, this thing's only got 300 hours on it. This machine's not that old, but, and I know, you know, nobody's messing with that. My father-in-law definitely ain't messing with it, so I'm going to chuck it down to either, I'm probably going to chuck it down to poor torque at the factory because, you know, these engines, they vibrate like a son of a gun. And if these aren't torqued properly, I think vibration's going to loosen it up. So that's what I'm chalking it down to. I think the root cause is actually poor torquing from the factory, and just the, you know, the engine vibrating loosened it up quite a bit, and she finally stopped. I did check the other ones. The other ones, well, I should say as many as I could reach. I probably got like a quarter turn out of some, but I don't feel comfortable tightening up anymore just because it's aluminum and, yeah, well, you know the gig. So that resolved that oil leak on this one. So now what I gotta do, and I did look this engine up. This is a Briggs & Stratton engine, and you got your little Briggs logo there. So it is a Briggs engine. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I gotta take this carburetor apart. We're gonna clean it and make sure everything's flowing nicely. So yeah, I'm probably gonna post you up on my back rack there so you can just see. But yeah, I'm gonna slowly dismantle this entire carburetor off the engine, and yeah, I guess I'll start getting to it. Put you there. That should be good, I hope. Tell you what, it's a nice day today. Nice day. You always want to cut off if you want. I mean, you could brazen and just say, you know, fuck it, let it ride, but cut off the fuel line. Just some brakes and, you know, just seeds are okay. Should say an acid. Seeds and acid. It looks like it's being supported by the heads. So looks like they remove the air intake bolts. And I think there's 10s. I recently purchased these mountain wrenches, these real long wrenches. You know, they're real nice. You get a lot of torque on them. They're super long. I do like these. Also have this offset too, which is nice. So, and I really like the switching feature, which is right on the head. And like, it's not a locking head, but it's pretty stiff. So, yeah, they're pretty reasonable. I got them on Amazon. And really, you know, just give them a little test here just to see how they work out. Let me get another magnetic tray. Tell you what, on lawnmowers I use more magnetic trays than anything else. So this fastener is tough. I can't. Also going to add some marble nitrile to this gas in this thing. Maybe it's me, but I'm finding on this engine there's mostly metric, but a couple standard ones, couple 5/16. and 3/8, yeah. 5/16 and 3/8. These had red Loctite on them too. We don't want those vibrating loose. So yep, they put red Loctite on these. So we can add that back just in case. So now I'm at the point where I gotta disconnect these levers. And this one looks pretty straightforward. One just pops out. Then we got this guy, which looks like we could just move this thing. Oh, my hand done. You need to disconnect your electric solenoid on the bottom of the carb. I hate these fucking things. I actually, honestly, I clip them. I clip the tip of the solenoid, or they have like a rubber boot on the bottom of the solenoid of the carburetor. I'll show you. But yeah, these solenoids, I mean, they put them in there so the motors don't backfire. Sometimes on older ones, you read it, you shut it off, and all of a sudden, boom, you get a backfire. That's what that prevents for, but I mean, for me, who cares? So anyway, alright, so we're gonna put this on the bench. We're gonna flip it upside down and see what's going on. You gotta have a work table with a vise. This is my work table. I gotta get some of this crap off, but you need to have a work table with a vise, just so you can, you know, take it apart, take things apart, and get into them. So put this here, and you can see what the hell I'm doing. Only 2 bolts holding this carburetor on. All the older Briggs used 4. So I don't know if you can see, but this solenoid here has this plunger. So when you provide 12 volts of power, the plunger pulls down You know what? Why don't we show you? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the key on, and you'll see the solenoid pull back. Tail pulled back, power off, power on, power off. And all that does is allows the gas, all it does is allows the gas to stop when you shut the fuel off. Things on there. Okay. Things on there. Man, why is that in there so tight? Why the hell is this thing in here so tight? The ferrules in here? No ferrules, but I don't know what the hell that thing's on there so tight. Maybe it's corrosion. Maybe corrosion. Yeah, so you got the needle valve there. The needle valve's a little dirty actually. Get my little tweaker. We got an O-ring. An O-ring. What the hell is this thing just sitting in there? Oh, okay. So the O-ring. Looks like the O-ring sits right on this thing, right here. I guess it sits like that, so it doesn't flow back. Yeah, we can replace that. And then, since we got these two small Phillips heads, we can take those off. And I'm gonna spray the piss out of this thing just to make sure there's no shit in here. Okay. So pretty much fuel goes in here, these brass things, and it gets sucked up through these fillers here. I mean, they don't look clogged, but okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the shit off, get my air gun, I'm gonna blow all this crap out, carb clean the piss out of it, blow it out hard, and then I'll reassemble the carburetor. I mean, I was thinking maybe I take this whole thing apart, but I don't have the gasket kits for this, and I mean, fuel, it's pretty simple. The fuel line goes in, fills this up, and goes through here and there, so I don't think we need to take that apart. So we'll see. Maybe I'll prove myself wrong, but I'm going to stop the video because I'm going to, like I said, just clean it. I have a ton of carburetor cleaning videos, and then what I'll do is I'll put it back together, and then I'll start the video once I start reassembling this thing, and then we'll fire it up, we'll see if it starts right up. So hang tight. Alright, so sorry guys, I was listening to music, and I was putting this thing back together, and I said, shit, I forgot to YouTube. So, I'm literally just put this subframe on, and I'm just going to put you down, because I will finish putting this thing together. And then after that, we're going to test out, see how she runs. So, we know we fixed the oil leak. We cleaned the carburetor. Put it back together. One thing I did notice on the carburetor, and I don't know why well, I guess I know why they did this, but on the bowl of the carburetor, the O-ring that seals from the gas getting out, that O-ring is oversized. It's too big for the bowl. It's the outside diameter, the diameter is too big. And I was like, why do they do that? And I think they're worried about shrinking. I think they're worried about shrinking in weather. It's the only thing I can think of. So if you guys know, comment and let me know. But anyway, I couldn't get the O-ring back in, and the only way I was able to get it back in is with by putting it in one side at a time and using super glue. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Sometimes I use grease. But in this case, I use a little dab of super glue in 4 corners just to hold it in place so it wouldn't pop out. And it worked pretty good. So in the event you guys run into that on this Briggs engine, that's what I did. So, yeah. almost done your dad's mower, so I want to just drive it out, like to wash it down, so maybe we try to leave it like now. Is that okay? Yeah. What's that? Yeah, that's fine. I don't think we're going to until 5 anyway, so. So, we can get there at 5. So I don't think we should rush it. So we can do like an hour. Alright, yeah, try to come out on the house. Alright? Perfect. The wife is tired. It was my birthday recently. And so my family, my sister's born in July. And my father is also born in July. And I'm born in the first week of August. So we have a trifecta birthday celebration. And it's late, but we're celebrating it today. So I gotta go to Jersey. Today see Ma and Pa. Whoa. Alright, last fastener. We don't have any extra bolts, so that's good. Okay. So the whole thing's back together, so let's see. So now this thing took like 300 cranks to get started, so I got the choke on. Now there is some cleaner in it. Let's see if it starts. Isn't that interesting? Clean the carburetor, and she does not want to start when it's on choke. Let's put it to regular just a moment. This stuff is the best, like when it's running. Instant gum cutter. It's they call it a 2+2 part, but it's an oil, it's a lubricant and a cleaner, and it does really good on intake valves and stuff. So I'm gonna try to make her puke her guts out with this thing. So what I do is I kill it with this thing, and then I keep on spraying a little after she goes, and it's got like a hot soak. Let it sit for a little bit. Yeah, so I'm gonna let this thing sit for like I don't know, 5 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna fire it back up, and then I'll let it get nice and cold. You know, so maybe tomorrow I'll start up, and I'm thinking tomorrow she'll fire right up with no issues. So I'm gonna give it a shot and see what happens. But anyway, that was an oil leak and a carb rebuild in this sucker. See you next time. I gotta get back on the Elsa, so at some point we'll get on that, and then I gotta get on Mike D's moped and Mr. D's chainsaw, most importantly.